Hello YouTube, it's Darthsteve333 here again with another pickups video. Bit of a pause since the last one because I've been on holiday. So I've got a few pickups that I found while I was away and in intervening time. Also been to Revival, which I'll mention a bit later. So I've got to probably divide the most recent pickups into 2, maybe 3 videos. So without any further ado, I'll crack on. It won't be in strict chronological order, so where best to kick off? I think probably here. This is something I found probably 6 months ago, and it's been plugged into the SNES for that time. I found it at one of the car boots towards the back end of the winter. It was £1 or two, no, £2 I think, and it's I think it's Super Adventure Island. Which obviously a Japanese one, very unusual, just found it on a stall full of junk and so forth really, and it sort of leapt out at me, so yeah, very pleased to pick that up, and it means I can use my universal adapter again, so I've been meaning to mention that for months. So yeah, as I mentioned, I've been on holiday. A couple of things that I got in the week since I got back, a couple of miscellaneous PS2 games. This one I'll probably keep because I don't have it. It's Family Guy the video game, and this one I will probably trade in because I already have it and in better condition, and a non-platinum version. It's Star Wars Battlefront 2. Also found this, which I picked up mainly because of the case. That'll improve one of my existing games. It's actually a Golf 3. Very nice condition actually. Someone's looked after it, so like I say, I'll swap the case out with one of my more battered PS1 games. And the last thing I found, I think this was either £2 or £3, which isn't a lot less than you'd probably pay for one online, but I got the Wii 2 HDMI. This was from the recycle centre, so yet to try it out because my Wii games are being played through the Wii U at the moment, so my actual Wii is packed up and out of the console rotation, if you like. So yeah, that was a couple of miscellaneous things from last week after I got back. I've got a few pickups. I think that volume might be a bit loud. Just turn it down a little. There we go. So yeah, I went to car boot a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and found only a couple of things really. This I got for £1, which is the Zombrex version without the sleeve, but the Zombrex version of Dead Rising 2, otherwise in very nice condition, and it's got I believe it's got the making of the game. I'm a bit of a sucker for those. Yeah, Terror is Reality, the making of Dead Rising 2, so once I saw that it was a done deal, so £1 for that, very happy. The other thing I saw was this Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2. It's the non-collector's edition, but I will trade that in towards some CEX credit to get some games I don't have. The next little pile, I basically saw a guy selling a load of PC games. Now I've got a load of PC games already. A lot of them these days you need Steam keys. Well, they come with Steam keys, so you know you can't use them more than once. So I normally don't buy those anymore, but this particular game that caught my attention, in fact 2 of them, I'll leave till last. They basically took my attention. I says, how much for the PC games? He says £1 each, but you can have the whole lot for £3. So given that there was another 5 games there, I thought why not. So they are as follows: Duke Nukem Manhattan Project, Bioshock 1 and 2, Racing Simulation 3, Kingpin, and the 2 that initially caught my eye, Stalker Call of Pripyat, which has got sort of bonus content, if you like. It's got a soundtrack CD, some postcards or art cards and so on, so I got that. And probably the one which took my interest the most was Another World 15th Anniversary Edition, which passed me by at the time. I think I saw it wanted to buy it at some point, never got round to it, and then it wasn't for sale anymore. So yeah, I thought that was nice to pick up for a fraction of £1. That's the 3 things from that particular sale. Were some Nintendo games for the DS, and I basically picked these up for the purposes of going into CEX. Like I say, I could do with topping up my Dreamcast collection, because I understand they're starting to do retro games now. So Dreamcast collection, GameCube collection, if I can add some funds to add to them, then great. Otherwise I can spend it on possibly some PS2 games or some more recent games. So anyway, these were, I believe he was asking for £2 each, or he says 3 for £4. So I got Professor Layton and the Curious Village, Nintendogs, and American version of Bust a Move DS. I think I have the UK version, so I'll probably hold on to this one and maybe trade in my existing UK copy. So on to my holiday. Nice holiday, good weather. I was pretty lucky with that. Just sorting through these as I go. A lot of these were just odds and sods from charity shops. So these two I got along with a DVD of Johnny English Reborn. They were in the bargain bucket, 3 for £1. So obviously I got Johnny English, the second one, a copy of The Sims 3 for the PC. I think that's the Origin version, so I might hold on to that and trade in my non-Origin version of Sims 3, which should give me a few pounds credit. And this Dark Forces, if this is one of the games that if I see it, I can't really leave it there, because it's Star Wars, and B, it's such a good game, and even though it's very, very, very old, I love the game. So not bad for £1. I think this was 50p somewhere. Guitar Hero 3 for the 360. This was £1. Viking Battle for Asgard, one of the 360 games I don't have. That was again from a charity shop. This was from an odds and sods shop. Now this is a much better copy than the one I've actually got. Evil Dead Fistful of Boomstick. So yeah, nice condition. So I think that was a couple of quid. Might have even been £3, but it's Evil Dead, and again I do like Evil Dead, I like Bruce Campbell. So yeah, happy enough to pay that. A couple of PSP games. Scarface, that cost me £1 I think. And this one I actually bought from a car boot a few months back, and took it home without rather foolishly checking to see if there was a UMD in there. Thankfully this one has got a UMD in there. It's Medal of Honor Heroes 2. So there we go. What next? This was from a charity shop. Now I might have overpaid a little bit, but it is a copy of the, well, basically a model of this particular console that I don't have the this precise colour. Apologies, stumbling over my words, I've been like that all day. Basically it's a GameCube. It doesn't come with a controller or a video lead, but I've got spares of those. So one GameCube power pack, excuse me, and a silver or platinum, I think they might call it, a bit scratched on top, but a GameCube, and it got a bonus copy of Simpsons Hit and Run in there, which I did pick up the other week, and the disc on this one is in much better nick than the one I picked up the other week, so pleased. Excuse me. So where to next? The last, well, not the last thing, I'll leave that until last, oddly enough. Went to well, we went down to Devon, and I went to Bridgewater while I was there, because there's a few game shops around there. I think Ridge King Retro has featured a few of them on his pickups videos, so I nipped into those. Found out that one that I had actually visited on a previous holiday a couple of years ago, it seems to have gone. I can't remember what it was called, but it seems to no longer be. I also found the there's an arcade just around the corner from one of the game shops, and again the name escapes me, but I finally found it this time, having not found it the previous time. So I had a good hour in there, played Carrier Air Wing to completion, albeit with a few continues. That was great fun, and my wife was with me, and she had a good sit down for an hour or so while I basically contracted RSI from pressing the fire button repeatedly. Good game, but yeah, if you haven't played it for a few years, be prepared for your arm to ache like buggery once you've finished. Anyway, so yeah, that was good fun. If I remember the name of the arcade, I think, is it Time Warp Arcade? Could be Time Warp Arcade. I'll post it down there, or whether I've remembered correctly. But yeah, it's good. You just give it a visit if you're in that neck of the woods. So yes, went into the other game shops, but before that I went into Cash Converters. Found this for $2.99, and it's Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. So I was happy to get that. And in the game shop, again, I can't remember the name of it. I am bloody terrible. I got Starlancer for the Dreamcast, and as you can see, it was $12.99, which I think was pretty decent. And there we go. It's obviously got the manual. The disc is in decent nick. I was going to get one of the Worms games. I think it was Worms Armageddon, but it looked like the inlay was like a photocopy. I don't think done by the shop, probably from whoever owned it previously. But I thought, if I'm going to get it, I'll get a proper version. So I was happy enough to come away with Starlancer, which my wife actually treated me to, which was very nice of her. Talking of my wife treating me, there was a place in Ilfracombe which sort of a bit of a DVDs stroke games stroke miscellaneous bits and bobs shop. Don't think he's been open long. Got a world supply PS2 games in there, a couple of which I would have bought, but they were incomplete and the discs were a bit manky. But I was chatting to him, and I saw a couple of games that drew my attention. The first of which was Another World, and as you can see, it's complete. Hang tab's gone off the box, but I'm not too fussed. Happy to get that. And this other one, which I've seen a couple of times previously at one of the local car boots, but I felt the guy was asking a bit much for it, even though I think it's probably going right on eBay. It is the Mega Drive Classic Collection, which, as you can see, it's got Altered Beast, which I do already have, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, Flicky, and the star of the show, Gunstar Heroes. Now the manual has seen better days, but it's certainly not the worst I've ever seen. And there is the cartridge. So again, my wife treated me to this and Another World. I think he wanted originally 20 quid for that, and I think £10 for that, but he did the both for 28 quid, which effectively you might say makes them 14 each, which was very nice. So excellent. Which leads me on to directly after I come back, I went to Revival for one day. Would have liked to have done the 2 days, but it was literally 2 days before payday. We were bloody skint, and it was as much as I could do to save a few quid to get a couple of things while I was there. So what did I get? After much umming and ahhing and scratching the head, I got this from one of the sellers. I think the actual Revival show was in association with, I think it was Vintage Gamer. I think they might be in Hellzone. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I've been to the shop before, and I bought, oddly enough, I bought my Mega CD from him at the last big Revival event a couple of years ago. So I got Alone in the Dark, and they had a freebie basket as well. And as you can see, that says free. So in here, I've actually got my first two official, albeit a bit battered, CD32 games, which is Diggers and Oscar, and some tape over the top, which I'll attempt to clean up. The DVD player disc off the PS2, and basically a demo disc, Winter Releases 98. As well as that, there was also, which I haven't actually grabbed, it's living up with my Dreamcast stuff now, something which I was very pleased to find, and that ended up being free as well. That was the sampler of the what was it, Action Replay X, which is like a means of inputting cheat codes for the games, but also, importantly, allows you to basically play any region on your Dreamcast. You put the disc in, you let it read, you put play game, and I've tested it on the 3 Japanese Dreamcast games that I've got, which is Power Stone, Soul Calibur and Godzilla Generations, and they all work a treat, so that made me beyond happy. So as I say, that was free. Those discs I just showed were free, and I got Alone in the Dark New Nightmare, which is an upgrade on my existing copy, which this one is missing the manual, but I do have the manual, but an incomplete, there's no inlay in my existing one, so I'll make a good copy out of the 2. He charged me £8, which I thought was an absolute bonus. What else did I see? Went to the Dreamcast Junkyard's little couple of tables, played Cosmic Smash on there, which is a Japanese exclusive game which I've seen CJR play, and it's like a sort of cross between Resin, Virtua Tennis and Squash, and probably with a little bit of Tron thrown in. Very good fun. I do aim to pick that up at some point, but they were also, I hope it was free, they got some of these on the table which I'd heard about. It's the Collector's Guide. Now, from what I've heard, because I do follow them on Facebook, they put this together, and then Sega sort of asked them not to sell it, so I presume they didn't like the idea of money being made out of it. So as far as I gather, the Dreamcast Junkyard guys have sort of said, right, is it okay if we give it away? And I think they were told yeah, so I picked that up, and like I say, there was a big pile of them on one of the desks, so I'm hoping that was for giving away purposes. I was very pleased to have it anyway. Which leads me to the last couple of games that I got. This one I ummed and ahed over for a good while, because it was, let's see, it was 16 after the discount, because they give you a little card, and if you present that it gives you 10% off, so it was 16. It's Resident Evil Director's Cut, and it's got both the discs, obviously the game and the demo of Resident Evil 2, and it has got the manual. It's got a bit bent, which is why I was umming and ahhing, but I thought that will do until I can find a better one. That will do. I sort of kicked myself because I found an almost complete copy in a charity shop for a couple of pounds 2 or 3 years ago, and it was missing the Resident Evil 2 demo disc, so I put it back. Thought twice, went back, and it had gone, so yeah, I regretted that. So I thought don't and about it this time. The only other game I got was Dr. Hack Mutation, which is the second in the series of 4, I believe. And I was quite surprised to still find this, because I think they're quite sought after. I've got the first one already, but yeah, it's that was, I think he wanted 20, so he knocked that down to 18 for me, which I was pretty happy with. I would have probably come back with a couple more things, but the day was cracking on by that point. I spent most of it sort of scratching my head, playing arcade games, playing pinball tables, playing old systems, and then I was queuing and waiting to go in and sort of see the talk with Walter Day from Twin Galaxies. They'd sort of hooked up on the transatlantic Skype, I think, through the 4G connection. It was an hour-long chat with Walter Day, which was pretty cool. But by the time I come out, it all finished for the day, so any further opportunities for spending had gone. So, also, I did run into Tutti, Stu, and Cojones de Loro, which I hope I've said correctly. It was nice to see them. Said hello, had a quick chat, and I kept meaning to try and find them later in the day, but I think they'd probably gone for a beer or two. I think they'd sort of sorted out most of the stalls quite early, so I didn't see them playing the games. That's not to say they weren't, I just didn't see them. It was pretty busy. But yeah, it was nice to see you both. Sorry I didn't run into you again, but yeah, maybe at the next one. Anyway, I think that pretty much concludes everything for this particular video, apart from a few weeks ago, I can't remember if I mentioned, I found this like a loose Nintendo scope for £1 at the car boot. It didn't come with a receiver, it didn't come with a sight. I picked it up anyway and I thought I'll buy this in stages, if you like, because I'd already got the cartridge, so I thought I'll put it together in pieces. Anyway, a couple of days later my mate contacted me, or I ran into my mate, and he sort of said, oh, you never guess where I found you. He found me one of these, which he's just given me recently. So he's sort of gifted me that, if you like. Now the minor problem with it is that neither of these actually seem to work at the moment. It's got the this is complete. It's got the receiver. It's got the game in there. It's got pretty much most of the bump. It's got the polystyrene and so on. But one of the scopes seems to have some of the battery connections missing, and the other one doesn't seem to be sort of transmitting the signal to the telly. So, excuse me. It's a bit interesting. But I aim to take them both apart and maybe put a working one together out of the two, so I'll keep you posted on my progress. Anyway, that is pretty much that for the moment, so until the next video, which should be soon, it's Darthsteve333 signing off. Bye.